is your response when somebody pisses you off?
Prayer. I'm gonna pray.
That's your first response?
My first response. Because Lord knows I don't need to go to jail. No, really, I have to really react and think about what it is that's pissing me off. If there's something that I can walk away from, I'm gonna walk away from. If I'm gonna react, you're gonna get the real me. That's all I can do.
Is the real you dangerous?
I try not to. I don't want to be.
You're over that? So, how long did it take you to figure out that
I'm still figuring it out. I have not completely figured it out. I'm still working on it.
Okay, we're all a work in progress.
Yes.
How do you react when somebody pisses you off?
Well, it depends who's pissing me off, right? So, like, it depends on the environment I'm in, right?
Okay.
If I'm in prison, I gotta do it with violence, right?
Okay.
If it's prison, it's violence, right? But like out here, like I'm away from home. I'm not where I grew up at right now, right? I'm in Pasadena, right?
Yes, Pasadena.
So I try not to. I try to fix it with words, right? When it pisses me off, but my plan B is always violence. You know? Yeah.
So, what is your reaction when somebody pisses you off?
I cut them off. Yes.
Silence of the
Absolutely.
That's it? No second chances? No nothing?
Hangman. I believe that, 1, 2, and 3. Like, it's like a little box. Like if you step out the line one time too many, it's a wrap for you.
Okay.
I might give you 1 shot, 2 shots. It just depends on what you're doing and how you do it. And that's going to determine how long you get to stay.
Okay. Why is the intro always a problem for us?
I don't know.
I think this is a great introduction because it just sees that we're really silly like that, right? Anywho, we are so glad to be back with you guys. We want to, before we start, let me get the meat and potatoes out the way because I'm gonna forget. We need to drop an anchor.
It's not dropping anchor.
We need to thank Destiny Cloud Sessions for having us here. We're going to drop all the info below. That way, if you have any podcast or photography needs, then you know exactly who to call, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I did that part. Oh, like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, right? Anything
Absolutely.
else? Mental check.
Nope, we got it.
Okay.
Okay. So we are happy to be back here today. We're going to drop some more nuggets for you. We are going to talk about personal growth and development, and we're going to do it our way, which is
Hello, Dr. Ellyn Energy.
and a little Foxxcee
Flavor. A whole lot, not a little. We need a whole lot of flavor.
A whole lot?
A whole lot of flavor.
Because she's a lot. Okay. So let's just check in. What's going on? How was your week?
Man, baby, do we really want to go into my week? Okay, so I've had a very long week, and I'm just saying that I am glad to be here because this gives me like a what's it called? A mental break from the from the stress that I've been through the entire week. So we had a family vacation planned.
Okay.
Planned this for an entire year. Well, you knew that, but I'm telling y'all that. We've had this plan for an entire year, and we were going on a 5-day Caribbean cruise with my mom, my dad, my husband, and everything was supposed to be perfect. And then there was the global shutdown.
Oh, my God.
And they called and canceled our flights. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is the day that we're about to leave, and everything just went to hell. And I lost my marbles. I had steam coming because I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how to put into words what I was feeling because I had just talked to a friend who experienced something similar to where their flight got canceled. We're supposed to go on a cruise, and the boat was like, we still took off.
Wow.
So she didn't get none of her money back.
Oh, that's
not
crazy.
a dime. So I was like, oh, y'all not keeping my money. That's what you're not going to do. So I get online, and I'm trying to find us a flight, and everything is canceled. There's no flights coming out the airports. So finally I figured out that Southwest was the only airline that was flying. So I'm like, okay, cool. We got everything. And yes, I'm going to put the word out there because guess what? When you treat people the wrong way, they tell other people.
Okay.
And that's how you ruin your business, Expedia. So we had everything set up through Expedia. So when the flights was canceled, I'm assuming everything is canceled. It was a package deal, right? And that's who I paid my money to. So I'm like, okay, there's no way that I'm gonna need a flight back from Tampa because I couldn't get to Tampa, right?
Right.
So I went ahead and rebooked us flights through Southwest round trip. And that was a whole nother situation in itself because we weren't supposed to leave until 10 p.m. And the flight was at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I had to call everybody like that was in a 909, like, I need y'all to get out here ASAP. Right now, you know? So, anywho, got all that done. Vacation was amazing. We had an amazing time. And I thought everything was going to be good until I got home and United don't want to give me my money back. Tell the fam. Tell the fam what that did to me. Because you know me better than they know me.
Yeah, that didn't go so well.
It didn't go so well. And so, I mean, Delta, thank you, Delta. They had my money back immediately. United is still giving me a hard time. And I kind of lost it. And I went off on a couple of folks. And I think I didn't have you there to tell me, to remind me about the ART process and how I really should have handled it. And I may have been the reason why they wasn't so, giving my money back. But it really made me mad. It really was testing me. It was one of those moments that was testing me because I'm like, what sense does it make for you to still tell me that I got to get that flight from Tampa when I wasn't in Tampa because you canceled my flight from Tampa to Tampa.
Exactly.
And I'm like, so I got to the point where I was like, so what you want me to do, walk? Just so that I can be on the flight?
Right.
Like, it made no sense whatsoever. So I was definitely tested and I definitely failed. I'm just being honest. I failed. So
you talk about the ART process. For those of you who are new to this process, that is awaken, restore to transform. So it's a coaching process where we kind of work through the problem so that we can get to the other side with a positive solution. So that is...
With the positive solution is the key word.
And positive results. Because right now, you didn't get the results.
I didn't.
So how could you have better handled that? Called me?
Probably. But at the time, I was calling the people that was dealing with my money.
Right.
Because when you mess with my money, we got a problem.
Right.
Especially because I had to repurchase new flights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know. Let me tell you the kicker. This is the kicker. I think this is what took me over the edge. I'm not going to say I would have been better if this didn't happen. All I'm saying is, this is my excuse and I'm sticking with it. They gave my mama her money back.
Oh, wow.
United. With no problem. When I called, they were like, oh, you have to go through a process. You have to go through online and submit. And I'm like, but my mama
Same
just
exact
called.
flight, same exact everything.
We were all traveling together.
Right.
We all had the same package deal. You guys didn't put her through any of that. Why are you putting me through that? Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry. This is our policy. I can't tell you what I said on camera, but it wasn't nice.
So again, that's the thing, right? Being tested, being tested. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay,
So what do you do?
How could I have done that differently?
What do you do when you're being tested, and how do you know you're even being tested? Because I have something to talk about in that respect.
Okay.
But I mean, when you are, do you feel a certain type of way? Do you feel it coming on? Is there something that you feel like you can do to stop it? Or is it just something that just happened in the moment?
Just like that. And I think it was back to that common sense stuff. Like, it's common sense.
Right.
If I couldn't get there, how did you expect me to need the flight coming back?
Right.
To
so
me,
that pushed all your buttons.
It pushed them all. It was a trigger. Wait, maybe I need to go back and watch our episodes because I failed. Clearly, I failed.
Absolutely.
But in that moment, I was just so upset that this was not because I was late to the airport and I missed my flight. This was not because I was irresponsible and did something or didn't do something for that matter. This was a global shutdown. Everybody was impacted.
Right.
Don't act like you don't know.
Right.
that's what I think was like the big ick for me, you know?
Yeah. So you probably should have taken a moment to take a breath and think about, because maybe you didn't get your money back because
Oh, I'm not
that
done.
particular person,
Don't play,
you
I'm
went
not
off
done.
on them and they were like, "Psh, I'm not giving you nothing." So,
And me being a former collections manager, I should know that. I really should, because I've done that several times.
Yeah.
Several times. It's all about your approach.
right.
And I really can honestly say that in that moment, I definitely didn't approach it right. But in that moment, I definitely didn't feel like I should be having to have this fight.
Exactly.
And I think that's what the test was like, I failed.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
And
I
that's
have to-
okay
yeah.
because that's where you can start to really look back at it and start to grow from it. And like, okay, so if I'm ever put in that situation again, how can I better handle myself? Or maybe it's just a situation I need to walk away from because I'm not able to handle it at this moment.
So if I'm looking at it from the awaken, acknowledge part, what am I supposed to acknowledge? I mean, this was...
I mean, you're now you know what those triggers are. Now you know, like, okay, in this instance, when things started to go bad, you say, you know what, I'm already frustrated. Let me just
call you back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let me get a handle on that part because everything that kept happening just built up and built up and built
Yeah.
up. And then finally you exploded. So if you could just check in with yourself from the beginning.
So acknowledge the triggers.
Exactly. I'm not feeling this right now.
And step
I'm getting
away.
angry. Or I'm being affected by whatever is going on. And then that way you can just pull it back and say, okay, I need a moment. Because
needed a drink.
well, even if that, even in that moment, even if that was the solution,
Right.
but you need to kind of detach yourself from the situation that is
Have a
causing you.
woosah moment, yeah.
Exactly.
I should
Because
have did some box breathing.
or something. Or something, because that's when it gets dangerous. Because like you said, that build up. And God forbid somebody would have been in your face telling you couldn't get your money back. I don't
Oh,
know.
Lord Jesus.
I've seen the Mayweather before. So
I'm reformed.
I've seen it. You don't want to see it. So, yes, acknowledging that something is happening, whether it's a feeling, whether, I don't know, just something is going on right here and I'm about to get mad.
Okay.
So let me just detach myself. That would be
would be the
something
smart thing to do.
that would be a smart thing to do, really. And then, pulling back. And it's so good that you are able to talk about it now because now you can set up steps that make you aware.
Yeah, especially because I'm not done.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I still haven't
'Cause
got
they
my
gonna piss
money
you off
back.
again.
Yeah. So
Because you still don't have your money back. And you're playing with my coins, and I don't like that. So
don't play with my family, my kids, my money.
exactly. So that was a great example of something that you can share and reflect on, and maybe somebody else, they get angry and they don't know that they're getting angry until they're already angry. So you could just push back from it and detach yourself if you can. But
then,
it's okay to fail too.
And then the restoration comes in when I go back and I handle things differently.
Yes, because now you are going to take steps. You're going to tell the man, hold on one moment, because I'm getting angry.
You don't like me when I'm angry.
Exactly. So give me a moment to do box breathing. Hold on. And then I'll be right back. And then you come back and you
I'm
you
gonna
get to
try.
Hey.
That's all I can say.
You
'Cause
have to
guess
try.
what? We human. I'm
Yeah.
human. So I'm here to admit that I failed at something that I was teaching y'all to do the last couple of
And it
episodes.
didn't work. But the process does work. And the process is wonderful because it is something that you can do by yourself. So hence what I had to do this morning.
Okay.
When I called you and I was like, listen, I'm not having a good day.
Trying to cancel the whole podcast.
I'm like, I'm not feeling it. My thoughts are not right. I'm not feeling it. So then I took a moment and I said, this is what this show is about.
Right.
So go to your grounding element, which is water. I went in there and I had to talk with myself. And I said, okay, what
You say
is-
self.
okay, self, what is happening? And myself answers. I don't know if your self answers, but it does. And I found out that I have been tested so much over this past 2 weeks. Like everything that we've talked about on this podcast, I've had a test in every single area. For
life.
most of,
That's life.
most of them, I passed.
Good
The
for you,
one,
'cause,
okay, but the one that I'm dealing with now, I failed. And it's because, okay, so if you remember, I talked about saying no.
Right.
And giving a hard no when I'm supposed to say no. Well, now because I've already dropped that anchor, I'm very uncomfortable when I say yes and should have said,
I just thought about
No.
something. We forgot our anchors.
oh, Lord.
We still gonna drop it today, though. Don't worry
That
about
part.
nothing.
So it was very uncomfortable the way I was feeling. And I said, what is this feeling? Let me
Right.
check in with myself. And I found out that because I'm a nurturer, it often makes me say yes when I should say
When you
no,
shouldn't.
because I feel like I'm helping. Not because I feel like, oh, somebody doesn't deserve this or that, but because I'm like, well, it won't hurt you to just help and do
Yeah,
this
but then
and the
that's
third.
when they start taking advantage.
Exactly. And so I'm realizing that the best thing to do is help somebody help themselves, not step in and do that for them.
And that is the same stuff that you've talked about on previous episodes. So yeah,
Right.
you failed.
Oh, no, I failed. I definitely failed. But where I was most proud of myself is because I didn't sit in it. And I really literally went and worked through the ART process, like what's going on, check in. And I said, that's what it is. And so then I said, what are you going to do about it? So now I'm learning that my giving side, it can also come off as, what do I want to say? Because I'm such a nurturer and a helper and all of that.
I think one of the things that you need to realize, and this is me talking to you because I don't think I've said this to you yet, is that you have all of the answers in regards to that process or
Right.
what have you. But when you're put in that position, I think your answers change depending on the person.
I agree with that.
And it shouldn't.
You're right.
When you create that boundary, it doesn't boundary except we're going to pivot for
Right,
you and
right.
pivot for you. It's a boundary. You
Right.
keep that line up
And then I
you
allow-
don't know how, you haven't figured out how to master that yet.
Right. And so that's what I have to do. I have to establish new boundaries, new healthy boundaries where my no is going to be helpful for that person that I should be saying no to.
Right.
You know, instead of saying, oh, it's nothing, because then you look up and you say, now how did I get here? This is exactly what I said I wasn't going to do.
That's
And
the
so-
anchor that you already dropped.
Exactly. And so now, like today, I am going to go back and set some steps and set some healthy boundaries so that I can now say no. And instead of stepping in and being that person's solution, make sure that I give them another solution.
Right.
Or help them find their own solution. Because at the end of the day, it's going to keep happening because
Because these people are grown.
Exactly, because that person still does not know how to find their own solutions.
And you know
So-
what? And maybe that person needs to fail. And you need to stop saving them
I
from
agree.
failing because failure is a lesson. We've talked
I
about
agree.
that as well. Failure is a lesson. So that's the lesson that they need to learn hard. So then that way they'd be like, oh shit.
Right.
I don't have a safety net.
Exactly.
This ground hurts.
Exactly,
They need
because,
to feel that.
and that's the thing. I don't want to be a person's safety net anymore. I don't mind helping, but enabling somebody is what I don't
yeah.
want to do. And that's why I felt so bad in my spirit, because I was doing it the wrong way. So I'm loving that my spidey senses are on,
Right.
and saying, okay, you are backsliding. You're doing something that you said you were no longer going to do, and I'm going to make it real uncomfortable for you so you can acknowledge it and do something with it. Because if I had sat in that all day, my
And it
day would
would've-
have been so
It would have
bad.
stopped you from being here and you
Exactly.
progressing forward. So
Exactly.
you helping other people progress is holding you back.
Exactly.
And,
And
that's
so
something
that's-
that we can't allow.
So that's that anchor that we don't want to drag with us.
Right.
You know, so I have to take that nurturing side and turn it into a lesson for somebody else and say, okay, this is what I can do for you. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to do this. And hopefully that helps you figure it out for yourself.
And that's when the transformation comes
Yes,
in and we're not
because-
doing it no more.
Right, because then I'm good. Because there's literally two things I've been holding, and they've been bothering me. And it's because there are things that I said I would not do anymore, anchors that I've dropped, and I backslid. So now I have to find a healthy way out of it. But I'm not going to do it. So I've decided.
I'm just letting you know right now, I'm going to hold you to that shit. I am
So I've
going to hold you to it
decided.
because
I've
I told you not to a long time ago. You don't listen to the kid. You don't listen to me. So now
So-
I'm going to be like, remember?
Exactly.
Remember, because we got witnesses now.
Yeah,
So it's not
'cause
just me. We got
I mean,
witnesses.
yeah.
We need you guys to hold us accountable.
Exactly, because we're human, and just like we're trying to help you go through the process, we also are going through it ourselves.
Right.
And there are times that you will fail and you will misalign, because that's where I was, and I'm like, I've been feeling like this for 2 days. What is going on here? But it's important to check in with yourself and see what is actually happening, so you don't continue to go down that path.
Right.
So that was my revelation today. And I was proud of myself because I did work through the art process, people. Yay me. You, on the other hand, you're still working on it.
I'm a rebel. What can I say? Not to say that I don't recognize that I need to,
Right.
but I am a work in progress. And I
Right.
can admit that.
Right.
That's just what it is. And I'm telling you, when it comes to my kids and my money,
Right. Don't
it
play.
you just
Don't
can't
play.
play with me with
Right.
that. So
But it's good because we're growing.
right.
We're growing, and we can talk about it and, not be embarrassed about it and accept the failure and come back and try to work through it and, turn it into a win. So the next time you'll probably be on here and tell somebody it's a win. Guess what? I did it. I did not curse anyone
I
out
walked
today.
away.
Can you believe
I
I
didn't
walked
say
away?
nothing.
Exactly. So it's about, being tested, and we all have limitations. We all have limits, and it could be in a number of things, right? But
Right.
what are you going to do when you get tested? Are you going to you just going to go fight?
Well,
Or are you going to take a moment and think about what you're doing and how you could better handle a situation, especially when you've been there before? This is familiar. So let's not try to repeat bad behaviors. Let's try to grow, because how do we get to the other side of it? How do we get to the next level when we still have that anchor there that is preventing
holding.
us from being mature enough to handle a situation or just walk away from it because it's not a positive situation, and we already know what's on the other
it's
side
on the other
of it.
side. We've already been there and
Right, we've been
experienced
there,
it,
done that.
and
So-
it wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
So why go back?
Exactly. And also to give yourself permission to say no in a very positive way, so that the person hears you and there's no backlash. They understand you, and they also know that you're saying no for their benefit.
So
You hear me?
I was just about to say. So are
I'm
you
talking to myself.
because I thought you was talking to somebody else. I want you to make sure they paying attention.
I am talking to myself. This lesson, I'm telling you, I have to get it, because the number of things where I was being tested, like I said, I passed all of them. And then I got an F.
How you get AAAF?
Right. Like what? That's like being
You're not
in
even
school.
graded on the curve. You just straight
I
fail.
went and got an F. And I'm like, but why? I said I wasn't going to do this. Why am I doing this? Because I didn't recognize what it was when I was doing it. Because it tapped into a side of me that I haven't addressed with the power of no.
Ooh, that's
So this,
powerful.
yeah,
That is powerful.
So this was a whole different side. So yeah, I'm like dropping my anchors, like, yeah, been there, done that, got that done. Nope. Like there's still something left. There's still something that you need to tackle in that space. And I'm sure it'll come up again. because there's always a new
Always. That's
scenario
why I
and a
said
new
it's life.
situation.
It's just life.
And
Life be lifing.
Right. So you can drop your anchor, but it's still in your back pocket, because we are human. And every scenario is not going to come up, and something surfaces. You say, okay, you know what? Let me pull that lesson out of that pocket, or what
Right.
we call the toolbox. Let me pull it out because I've seen this before. I know how this is going to end. So now, let me go back to my notes
Yeah,
real
you got to
quick.
do something different, because they
Like,
know.
what did I do last
You know
time?
what they say, when you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
That's called insanity.
So that's
I'm
not where we
insane,
want to
but,
be.
you know.
That's not where we want to
Right. So that's most important. So even the person who has developed the process needs to go through the process. That would be me. That would be me. So I'm just grateful that, I have those tools and I have that process to check in with, because I'm telling you, feeling the way that I felt earlier today.
go. Yeah, it wasn't right.
No, it wasn't. It was so heavy. And I can just imagine people.
What's funny is when you text me and you said, well, what do you think? I was like, well, I think, and I think. And I was like, be careful what you ask for, because I also think.
Right. But I was open.
Right.
I was open to receiving it, because I did not like that space that I was in. And even yesterday you said something's going on. And I actually, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, had a meltdown where I just had to cleanse myself with tears. I don't even know.
And sometimes it's necessary.
I don't even know why. I just.
That means you've been holding a lot of stuff in, and it needed to be released.
And there has been a lot going on.
Right.
But I think I'm holding on to other people's stuff. It's not mine. And
But
so
one of the things that you also said to me, that something that I think you need to make sure you don't forget, because you mentioned it, but I don't know if you've really sat in that, is that there's a lot of things that happen that you haven't really processed.
Right.
That you haven't really dealt with. You had to be the strong one at the time. Like with grandma passing and stuff, you had to be the strong one at the time to get everything done. But have you really dealt with the fact that grandma's not here anymore? Those are the kind of things that you said it, but don't forget it, because you still need to do that.
Right.
And that may have been a part of the breakdown that you had or whatever,
I agree.
but it might not be over, because you still woke up after the breakdown 3-4 days later
and still had
feeling
some
heavy.
stuff. Right.
So that's something you can't forget.
Right. Right. I appreciate that. And that's why I'm going to take a break. And I'm going to the water, the clear water.
You're going to the beautiful water.
The clear water.
With
so
the white
I can
sandy
just,
beaches water.
So I can just cleanse, start over, come back refreshed, because this year has been a lot.
Well,
a lot. And then
I got a final thought. You got a thought?
I do.
Okay. Well, let me go first, because I wrote my shit down.
Oh, Lord.
Because I already knew. Oh, hold on. Maybe you need to go first, because I don't know how to work this.
I think mine has to do with just the power of saying no, and choosing yourself, and knowing that it's okay, it's refreshing, it's growth. You can't worry about how a person is going to make a person feel, because when you don't say no, and then you become misaligned, then that messes up your whole situation.
Right.
That thwarts your growth. That stops you from getting to the next level, because now you have just committed to something that you really don't want to do, or is not aligned with, your purpose or process. So now you're trying to do this solely for someone else, when you should be putting yourself first.
Yep. Live your life for you, or put you
so
first.
it really is all about you. And you can help, but don't enable. So take a step back before you offer your yes or your no, and really think about, how is this going to impact me? Mind, body, spirit. Am I really going to feel comfortable moving forward doing this for this person? And what am I risking at the same time? Because I feel like I was risking my peace, my sanity, and that's everything to me. And so because I'm past that point, I was so misaligned where I was just like feeling like I was in a foreign body.
Right.
You know, really heavy and sorrowful and teary and like, what's going on here? Like
Emotional.
Exactly.
An emotional
you know, and so
human being.
yeah, and you have to be careful what you ask for. When you go through this process of growth, you will grow.
Yeah.
And those things you will not be able to do anymore. Because I can't. Like things that were so simple before,
Right.
it's not that they're not simple now. I literally cannot do them anymore. So I have to say no.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you learned that. Now we gonna see. We gonna follow up. All right. So Foxxee's final thoughts. In the moments where you find yourself being tested, think before you react, because most situations are handled better with sugar than salt. Let go and let God. That's for myself. I got this written on my mirror because
Right.
I need a reminder every day.
Right. Right.
So now that we have dropped some anchors,
Oh, Lord. Drop it.
all right, guys, thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn on those post notifications, and come back.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.